Hello one, hello all, it is the most hydrated ghost of them all, Caspa in the flesh, and it's time for a review of Doja Cat-Scarlet. Doja Cat is a rapper, singer, songwriter, dancer, and this is her latest album with quite amount of controversy behind this. One with her explosive backlash for her tweet that she put out, saying how her old image was a facade and the pop stuff was all a cash grab and her fans were dumb enough to fall for it. Which, in my opinion, not a very good look. Honestly, I feel that's where you alienate your fans, especially when they've been so loyal to you, but hopefully they stick around and hopefully the music is good that you're saying is the real you, the real her, but hopefully not Planet Her, or Hot Pink, or her debut. But I digress. Yeah, I've not really been a huge fan of her back catalog. I do think there is potential there, and the potential is her rapping. I feel when she's rapping, she's on point, she has a lot of personality, a lot of character that she brings to the mic. But back to the controversy. The other controversy being the satanic accusations that are being hurled her way due to her occult visuals, which I feel on this album she's playing into a little too much. And I get it. I honestly love the idea of entertaining the BS that your fans have fallen for or the public has fallen for, and just entertaining it. But I feel it could be done in a sarcastic way and opposed to a defensive way, because I feel when you do that, it does warrant an eye roll. And no, I'm not talking about the opener to the music video, Paint the Town Red. Whew, those are bars. Hey, thanks, man. But yeah, I feel like these allegations could be entertained in a sarcastic way as long as they're not problematic accusations, and honestly, I don't really think these accusations are really that dire. But to her credit though, she is doing that in a entertaining way on the opening track and one of the singles for this, Paint the Town Red, over this classic production of Dionne Warwick's Walk On By, with these vintage classy horns, devilish doubled vocals, with a very sarcastic tone coming from Doja Cat, and a lot of charisma and momentum within her flow. And the hook is catchy as hell. Ooh, she a rebel. About how she's really playing with people's emotions here and their beliefs, pretty much saying, okay, this is who you're painting me as, this is who I'm going to be. And then her harmonizing from the perspective of her skeptics. And of course, more controversy circles Doja Cat as she has allegations of her stealing this beat from producer Vano 3000, which to me doesn't really hold much water due to the fact that this is a sampled beat, so it could have really came from anywhere, and also Doja Cat did not produce this. Now, if it was a custom-made beat, you may have had a case there, but it's not, so it's pretty much dead in the water. Following the bombastic Demons, which I wasn't too crazy about on first listen, but it definitely has grown on me, with this booming bass, reverse horror style strings, which I do think thematically complement the demonic accusations. And she sounds so aggressive here, like she is getting more aggressive on this album with these shouted backing vocals. How my demons look! Like they're so in your face, and they also contrast very well with these sinister mini vocals on here. Yes, I said mini vocals, which is pretty self-referential and pretty much focuses more on being braggadocious and opposed to demonic, honestly. Pertaining to her success and saying how her demons look now that her pockets are full, and just pretty much throwing it in their face, saying like, hey, how do I look now? How do I look now that I've let the demons get to me? And very cheeky sexual bars here, where she says she swallowed his kids and spit the class out. Luckily, we do get a break from her focusing on the allegations. Then we get the very sticky banger, Wet Vagina, with these wavy synths like something out of a sci-fi movie and ominous chords that sounds like something out of Twin Peaks. As Doja sounds very smooth when it comes to cadence, and also very cocky, but also very choppy with the flow. In a way, it kind of reminds me of a nocturnal codeine-soaked banger from Future, with an insanely catchy hook. I bring the drip like wet vagina, which I could see this being a strip club anthem, but due to her latest antics, probably not gonna happen. There's also FTG, which stands for Fuck the Girls, where Doja is sharing her frustrated commentary on how she is tired of the animosity from dealing with women, how she feels there's a lot of restraint and a lot of jealousy hurled her way, and she is just done and she just wants nothing to do with the girls. And I love her animated flow, her shouty, confrontational vocals. They're in your face. And she is showing a lot of vocal variation on here over this ticking snare and bassy guitar line. The production is a little stripped back, but she definitely adds a lot to it when it comes to the vocals. Now, as much as I dig her rapping, and I dig that she is doing that more on this album, there are tracks where she is rapping and it does have its shortcomings, like on Ouchies, where she does deliver a very zany flow on here. The production sounds out of its mind. It sounds like some animated, cartoony Timbaland beat that Missy would have went to back in the day, which could have been a bonkers, unhinged banger, but it just ends too quickly before it gets started, which is just lost potential. Why? And there's 97, where Doja Cat delivers this continuous flow with a lot of wordplay. I love how it all pieces together with this raspy cadence and high-pitched doubled vocals on the hook. And as I said before, a lot of wordplay coalescing into one bar to the next, just smooth like butter, which she mentions on here a lot. And yes, it's cliche, but at least it's not overloaded. And we also get some reflection on her having these online altercations, and with these online altercations with people in threads on Twitter, and how she's posted like a problematic tweet or a tweet that people didn't exactly take kindly to with a lot of backlash, and she is standing by that tweet. Now, is it the most healthy thing to do? Do I probably stand by what she's saying? Probably not, because I don't know what tweet she is referring to after all the tweets she's put out. But I respect the self-awareness, and at least she's honest about it. Unlike most people who are just trying to double down and try to get defensive and just deny their toxicity, because this is mostly about just pushing people's buttons and not having any concerns with what anyone has to say in retaliation to what she has said and what her beliefs are. The album does unfortunately hit a bit of a decline, especially with the song Gun, where I do dig a good metaphor, but this metaphor just seems a little too on the nose, especially when you gave the game away to a point where you've already said this guy's thing is like a gun, and since you've already let the cat out of the bag, it pretty much defeats the purpose of it being a metaphor. And then you got a bit of a snooze fest with Go Off, which does anything but. And yes, I do admire the sentiment of empowering women, even though you said fuck the girls on the last one, which pretty much contradicts what you were talking about before. Maybe there's evolution there, but this album doesn't really have much of a concept. It does pretty much lose focus when you have these grimy beats and then switching to this atmospheric and pretty style of the album, which honestly isn't really done well. It's very skeletal, not very memorable, and not very compelling either. With these breathy vocals that I've gotten tired of again and again, and skeletal production, it just really adds nothing and does nothing for me. And I kind of feel the same way about Shut Show, which she probably wants me to do, but I have a review to do, so I can't really do that. Sorry, Doja. However, I do dig the very dreamy, very sexy, very bedroomy, sexy Agora Hills. That wasn't sexy at all. Agora Hills. Better. With this hypnotic, very nocturnal and dream sequence-like sample of Troop's cover of Jackson 5's song, All I Do Is Think of You, about being absolutely gaga over this guy, pursuing him, basically just showing him off, being very proud of him, and being very proud to have him, and just cherishing him, and just absolutely being just head over heels for this guy. This is probably the most lovesick song that may be on this album. And lyrically, there is some cringe bars here, like sucking a little D in the bathroom. And there's also the I want your skin like Fortnite bar. Ugh. Which could have been okay if it was meant to be funny, but I feel like this is a romantic song, and I'm sorry if a woman said, I want your skin like Fortnite, I would probably run for the Agora Hills. But I do love the admirable and very seductive tone within her vocals, with these very passionate riffs, probably the best runs that I've heard her do on the entire album. And I honestly wish we had more of these. And I love the back and forth vocal variation, how she goes from cutesy, seductive, to very aggressive and assertive, and also have her killing it on the hook. She sounds like a bunch of features on her own song. And then there's my least favorite track, Can't Wait, where you've already done a great job at doing a love song, but then you do another song that's pretty much just a weaker version of that. And the quivering vocals, the can't wait, like, it sounds very goofy and very off-putting, and I just rather put it to the side. Although I do dig the sentiment, I think it's a little bit overdone. And speaking of overdone, there is going back to addressing the allegations again, which leads to a lot of corny bars like all I sold was records in response to selling her soul, and also saying mind your business Helga Pataki, but there's no punchline. You're basically just dropping cartoon references without a line attached. Why? Not to mention the hook is kind of grating, doesn't exactly go much of anywhere, and not to mention trying to carry herself like a godlike individual when you've basically entertained the thought of you being this demonic character. So which one is it? It just comes off really pretentious and corny to me, honestly. And I mean, based on the shit she's done in real life, I'm disappointed. Musically, I am disappointed here. And there's also a tension where the bars are on point, the flow is on point, and she is just basically just flexing on here. And I dig the smoothness of the production, but the hook is kind of mid. Like the breathy, pitchy production just doesn't do much for me. The atmospheric, Yoshi-like instrumentation doesn't do much for me. I just wish it just stuck to like the smooth jazz type of thing. Maybe add like an embellishment to make it a little interesting, but not that. Not Nintendo games. And I love Nintendo games. And then we have the closer, which closes off pretty well. I do love the nocturnal G-funk style beat with these droning, eerie keys and plucked strings with the incorporations of, I believe, a accordion? With some slick wordplay on here saying, I compete, you are incompetent, or copy this, copy that, beware that you cannot copy stats. So while this album is bloated, underwhelming at times, there are some hooks that left a lot to be desired, and basically going back to, and then backtracking to the vocals I don't really care for, I do think this is her best yet. I think that she is playing into her strengths. I just wish she did it more consistently, because when she's rapping, she is on fire. She is a beast. So if she stays in this direction and she consistently makes it interesting, I think we could have a dope project. So if we have more consistency, more focus, more innovation, and not harp on accusations people throw your way, and again, have more of a theme, have more of a flow to the album, I think she could put out a great one. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling a 3 out of 5 hearts on this album, but that's just my opinion. If you've given this a listen, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? And that's it. Caspa, Gothic Ghost, Doja Cat, Scarlet, till we meet again.